I'm an evolutionary biologist, fascinated with the process of evolution and its outcomes. And ever since I began my PhD, that has been focused on events that occurred very early in the history of life on our planet. In particular, life appears extremely diverse to us, from jellyfish to gorillas to oak trees. But you scratch the surface, and what is remarkable is how similar all life is. At the chemical level, we're doing the same thing as bacterium, let alone oak trees and mushrooms. And that tells an evolutionary biologist that life on our planet made some decisions very early on, which it's stuck with ever since. Those decisions fascinate me as outcomes of evolution. There is something called the central dogma of molecular biology, which was named in the 1960s when numerous Nobel Prizes were being awarded for its discovery. But it is nothing less than the simple set of rules that defines life, all life. So whether you're a bacterium or me sitting in this chair, you're decoding DNA genes into a very similar sister molecule known as RNA, and then translating it into a fundamentally different chemical language known as proteins. Those proteins then spontaneously interact with one another to form metabolism, which is the fancy name for the process that, amongst other things, produces the DNA and produces the loop. That is the central dogma. That is what all of life is doing. So, given that life decided 3.5 billion years ago to have this system, my work was to understand whether this system was a predictable or reliable outcome of evolution. And during the PhD, I used a computer to simulate alternative realities that we have every reason to think could have been, but aren't. Other genetic codes. And we tested them for properties against the system that nature came up with. In short, to build evidence that an awful lot of Darwinian evolution produced a fairly reliable outcome that is the genetic code, the foundation of life as we know it. In particular, all of life is built around 20 amino acids, just as all of English is built around 26 letters in the alphabet. And we wondered, what if there were other alphabets? Good scientific reasons to believe that other building blocks were entirely possible, available for use. And so we extended the work to ask whether we could understand the 20 amino acids upon which life on Earth is built as a reliable, predictable outcome of evolution. And a long story short, once again found a surprisingly strong answer that yes, it seems as if this is the way that one would do life. The genetic code is clearly very special. It's what we mean by special, and there are multiple ways in which it's special, and probably a lot more that we haven't discovered yet. But right down to this fact that it has curious, deep properties that seem to be more or less predictable. Do I think that another origin of life, or if we could magically rewind history and let it play out again, do I think we'd end up with the same code? If I had to guess right now on the evidence we've got, I'd say no, we wouldn't end up with the same one, we'd end up with one with similar properties. And that leaves all sorts of unanswered questions.